charges toward Florida.
We got to be more ready this time than we've ever been before.
New York City's mayor indicted.
I know I'm innocent. I will request an immediate trial.
Mideast ceasefire push.
Hell is breaking news in Lebanon.
Good morning. I'm Steve Cation with the CBS World News Roundup. Wind and rain from the outer bands of Hurricane Helene battering Marco Island, Florida. Forecasters say this storm, which has now been upgraded to a Category 2, will make landfall farther north with a storm surge that could be unsurvivable. For Frankie Johnson and her family in Horseshoe Beach, Florida, it's the third hurricane in 13 months.
Last year when our day hit, we lost everything, and they're saying this one's going to be worse than that one.
CBS's Manuel Bojarquez is in Tampa.
As the outer bands of Hurricane Helene move through this area, we're getting heavy rain and gusty winds at time. And the big concern here is the possibility of the storm surge being anywhere from 5 to 8 feet. The mayor is urging anyone who still has a chance to get out of low-lying areas and to higher ground to do so. About 200 miles north of here in Crawfordville, Florida, close to where Helene is expected to make landfall. That's where we find my colleague Jason Allen. Jason, how are conditions looking there this morning?
Well, a little bit of a break from some deluge of rain that we've experienced this morning, but we're watching the radar carefully. We know there's another band that is headed our way. There is a mandatory evacuation order that is in effect here. There are people who are risking their lives and have decided to stay. The big concern for them is that they may not be able to find higher ground. They are likely not going to have power or gasoline for days.
Now to New York City, correspondent Nikki Batiste reports sources tell CBS News the Democratic mayor faces federal criminal charges.
These charges will be entirely false, based on lies.
Moments after New York City Mayor Eric Adams was indicted on criminal charges by a federal grand jury, the 64-year-old delivered a defiant response.
I will fight these injustices with every ounce of my strength and my spirit.
The indictment is still sealed, so the exact charges are unknown. According to sources, it was part of a probe focusing on whether Adams conspired with Turkey and possibly 5 other foreign governments to funnel illegal donations into his 2021 mayoral campaign in exchange for influence.
Israel launched a fresh round of airstrikes against Hezbollah targets in Lebanon overnight as President Biden focuses on ceasefire efforts.
21-day ceasefire along the Israeli-Lebanese border. You're able to generate significant support from Europe as well as the Arab nations.
In the race for the White House, former President Trump and Kamala Harris stumped in battleground states yesterday, focusing on the economy. CBS's Ed O'Keefe.
Vice President Harris back in Pittsburgh, this time focused on matters of dollars and cents.
The American people face a choice between two very different paths for our economy.
Her speech came with an 80-page economic agenda, including plans to restore an expanded child tax credit and a new one for families with newborns, increased access to paid leave, a new federal ban on price gouging, and federal assistance for first-time home buyers, new rental units, and new small businesses. But how would she pay for it all?
We're going to have to make sure that the biggest corporations and billionaires pay their fair share.
Campaigning in North Carolina, Trump dismissed her ideas.
Kamala Harris is a one-woman economic wrecking ball.
But he also focused on what his campaign called real and specific threats from Iran to assassinate him.
I think you have to let them know that you do any attacks on former presidents or candidates for president, your country gets blown to smithereens.
The New York Appeals Court hears arguments today on the bid by Trump's lawyers to overturn the $500 million civil fraud judgment against him. President Biden's signature is next for a bill that's now passed the House and Senate to avoid a government shutdown that keeps federal agencies going through December 20th. Additional money has been pumped into the Secret Service. 4 minutes after the hour.
Well, that's today's news. Today's news. I didn't hear any good news, did you? I didn't think so. I guess it's all about perspective. The glass is half full. Well, as always, I'd like to thank you again for coming along with me on these Dash Cam News adventures. You know the drill. Peace, love, and all that hippie jazz. Bye-bye, everybody. It's 55 degrees in Richmond, California.